Hello, class. This is my interview that I conducted with Damon Sloan on Friday, June 20th. He is the Dean of Student Services and the Vice President of Student and Alumni Affairs at the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. I had actually gotten to know Damon through my mother, who's an adjunct professor at the University of St. Xavier, and she had mentioned to me that he would be a great contact in my program to get to know him as a colleague because he would have just a lot of great advice for me. And it was completely true once I got to know him through the interview process. He was able to help me just make so many connections to all the classwork that we've been doing thus far in the summer, and I've learned a lot, and he's given me quite a bit of great advice on what to do in my career path. So it was a wonderful interview, and I'm so glad to share it with my classmates. Let's start with his education and his current position. He got his Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science at Ball State University, which was neat because I didn't realize he was the one that went to Ball State, and that's where I graduated from. So we had a great connection through talking about the campus and the different faculty members that we had at our different times at the university. So that was interesting. He got his Master of Science degree in Student Counseling and Personnel Services at Kansas State University, and he is now currently the Vice President of Student and Alumni Affairs, as well as the Dean of Student Services at the University of St. Francis. Some background information about him. He began experiences in undergraduate and graduate school in residence halls. He had an assistantship with the residence halls in his grad school program, and one of his practicums was in academic advising. When he graduated Kansas State University with his master's, he accepted a position at Central Michigan University as residence hall director. He had mentioned that 90% of the position was residence life, while 10% was academic advising, where he learned scheduling, advising, orientation for incoming freshmen, mentored freshman students, and just was completely immersed into the residence hall life. He had about 10 years total experience between undergraduate, graduate, and his positions in residence life. He then later went on to Siena Heights University as Director of Residence Life, and this was his first time exposure not only to a small college, but to a small Catholic college. He fell in love with it. He loved that everyone knew everyone. It was very collegial. He was able to gain a lot of experience in a lot of different areas of his position, and was eventually promoted to Assistant Dean of Students and the Chief Conduct Officer, which he handled a lot of the disciplinary cases. All the student discipline cases came directly to him. He got to be involved in a lot of student activities, such as working for agents for famous people coming to campus, and just a variety of different activities in the student life area that got him introduced not only to student affairs, but it was able to make the connection between residence life and the whole student affairs spectrum. He then accepted a position as Dean of Students at University of St. Francis, where they were looking for someone who was a young assistant director at a Catholic university, a small Catholic university. So it was a perfect match for him. He grew up outside of Joliet, and his mother actually attended and graduated from University of St. Francis, so he felt that it was a really good fit to move on to University of St. Francis. Later on, I'll discuss how he became Vice President of Student and Alumni Affairs, that was added to his title. Some of the best and the worst parts of the position that he currently holds is he loves the small town atmosphere. He loves that everyone knows each other, like mentioned earlier. Everyone has great communication. He's constantly talking to the president, the vice presidents, the provost, and gets to work with a lot of different people on campus. He also has a great relationship with the students. He constantly sees them every day. He spends many nights working with student clubs and organizations, so he's not just in the office 8 to 5, he actually participates in the student activities. So he does see students daily. He doesn't just work with professionals all day. That was the thing he kept mentioning, is I actually spend time with the students, and I get that because I do work at a small university. And he said every day is an exciting challenge since he works with so many different people, that he just loves that he's shaping the University of St. Francis for the next 20 years. And he also mentions how he does get paid nicely for it. And he just loves that he gets to be the person that gets to plan and lead things and convince others that the direction you want to go down is the best path. And he just he was so proud of his position and what he gets to do at University of St. Francis. Some of the worst sides is some of the things that we all experience at our institution: lack of resources, a strict budget, and prioritizing projects is another major one, because he needs to figure out which initiatives and which projects should take precedence when it comes to spending money in the budget. 85 to 90% of their money does come from tuition dollars because they are a private institution. They do not have a well endowment, compared to someone like Harvard University that has a $35 billion endowment. University of St. Francis does not obviously have that, so they need to really be creative with the budget that they are given. Another one he had gone into a lot of detail about was mental health issues with students. He discusses a lot about crisis management and suicide issues and having to work with the state of Illinois in case they do have a suicide issue. Having students that are on medications, and if they are suicidal, he mentioned how he's had to contact the state of Illinois to see if the student does have a gun permit, or if they need to put a flag on his account or on his background that he has been suicidal in the past, and that should be a red flag if he were to obviously go and purchase a gun. Things like that he was going into great detail about with mental health issues. So that is definitely a major part of the position that he holds right now. His department mission, he has an entire letter to the students on his website, and he encourages his students to go on the Facebook page and like their page of the Dean of Students, and also follow him on Twitter, so he likes to stay engaged with the students. It has mentioned that he encourages all students to join a student organization, identify social or cultural events to attend, and get to know the student services available. He's a very open door policy type of person. When a new president came to University of St. Francis, he was actually put onto the president's cabinet and was added quite a bit of departments into his program that he oversaw. He now oversees career services, the Academic Resource Center, academic advising, and this is in addition to student life, athletics, student engagement, student health, and alumni relations, which is kind of an odd one, but he loves having the alumni relations part of his title. He also oversees 8 different departments and 1 administrative assistant. Some of his achievements include students had 22 clubs to choose from when he began his position, and now the number is at 38, and he encourages students to start their own clubs and organizations. He also reports that all residence halls are completely filled, which is a great accomplishment for the university, and student satisfaction and engagement has also dramatically increased, and he has data to back up this claim. The biggest difficulty for students that he reported is the student employment opportunities. There's only 250 student jobs available to 1,500 students. He's making plans to look into the fact of administrative assistants when they leave, when they retire, is to fill those positions with student assistants. So you can really tell he has a student-first mindset and wants to get these students employed. I asked him what the biggest issue in higher education is to him, and he said it was the bubble of affordability. He had posed a lot of questions, such as, how do we keep students coming to brick-and-mortar institutions rather than losing students to for-profit online courses? He kept emphasizing that they're a small institution, so they have to fight a lot to get those students to come to their institution rather than look for cheaper options elsewhere, especially with even non-for-profit organizations that offer online courses. A lot of students are afraid to, go to a physical campus because it costs more. It costs more to live on campus, and they're afraid to take on that financial debt. So that is the biggest thing facing higher education, in his opinion, is the affordability and how much tuition dollars have skyrocketed, how much student debt students have taken on. And that was the biggest point that he had made throughout that whole discussion that we had. I asked him for some advice for myself, because I had mentioned to him that I do want to start out in residence life and then eventually move to student affairs. And he gave me some great advice, saying that the residence life is a wonderful department to start because it provides experiences you cannot find anywhere else on campus. It's an extremely beneficial learning curve that has a ton of positions available for all academic and experience levels, even entry-level positions, and it really gets you to understand crisis management, which is a key aspect to learn when you're moving into higher positions, because that's just something you cannot learn until you actually experience residence life. So I really appreciated that advice, because his career track has really showed the kind of track that I hope to take as well when I finish my program here at Georgia Southern. And here are my references. I use the University of St. Francis, obviously, and then I also encourage anyone to check out his Facebook page, because it does have quite a bit of information. He likes to stay up to date with students. And also, because I'm probably going to share this with him, many thanks to Damon Sloan for allowing me the opportunity to conduct the interview. And I thank you for watching my report. Sorry if it was too long. Thank you.